Hello and welcome to Views on News. I'm Jawad. The IMF mission for the first biannual review of the $7 billion extended fund facility program to Pakistan is in Pakistan for the talks with the Pakistani authorities, and these talks are going to happen from 3rd of March up till 14th of March for 10 days. And this IMF mission is led by Mr. Nathan Porter and will assess quantitative performance criteria, structural benchmarks, indicative targets. Finance Minister Muhammad Aurangzeb says, let me quote him, they are here, we'll have 2 rounds of talks, first technical and then policy level. I think we are well positioned for the review, unquote. After this particular review, $1.1 billion tranche would be released. We also know for a fact, owing to prudent policies of the government, the economy is largely stabilized and the macroeconomic indicators are also improved. These important matters are for discussion in today's show. For that, we are honored to be joined by Mr. Humayun Iqbal Shami, President, Pakistan Economic Forum, in the studio. Mr. Shami, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Also in the studio, we are honored to be joined by Professor Dr. Abdul Rashid. He is Director General, International Institute of Islamic Economics at the International Islamic University in Islamabad. Professor Rashid, thank you very much for your time, also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Mr. Shami, let's specifically talk about these talks, this particular review, first biannual review of this particular $7 billion extended fund facility program to Pakistan. Finance Minister says he's very optimistic and we are well positioned for the review. I'll come to this particular aspect. What makes the authorities in Pakistan optimistic regarding this particular review? Let's specifically talk about the procedure and the methodology that is adopted when we talk about the 2 phases of these talks. First are going to be the technical and the other are going to be the policy level talks.
Thank you very much. Actually, this is a biannual review which is taking place for over 37 months program for $7 billion.
There are going to be 6 in total reviews.
6, there will be 6 biannual, So actually, whenever the program is scheduled, whenever the program is given, they give certain targets that you have to achieve these targets, the structural reforms, this taxation reforms, and these targets, all these things, So they have to see that whether this country has achieved in this 6 months, they have achieved those targets, or they are near to that target, or they are toward achieving that. So there is optimism or not, So that they have to that is a primary requirement. This is nothing new. They do it in every country. This is not a new thing. And Pakistan has been going.
This particular review is happening in the phase of on the technical side.
On the technical side.
And the policy level, how do we differentiate both of these? What happens at the first phase and what happens in the next one?
At the first time, they have given us some that to increase the tax base regarding the property tax to be included, then the taxation to the property, then taxation to the retail sector and some other, So Pakistan has gone like all the 4 provinces, they have passed the legislation about the agriculture tax, and probably it will be imposed from first coming budget. But as far as the retail sector is concerned, this is still not up to the mark, and we couldn't achieve that target and so far. But I think the things are going in a better way. I hope so that that issue will be solved. As regard the taxes, the main concern at this moment is the tax shortfall. So far, about 600 billion rupees tax shortfall is there, which we have been discussing before. That there are certain reasons for that. Basic reason is that the inflation rate has gone down. Then the other is that our industrial growth was not up to the mark. That was, still we are lagging behind our target. And then the cotton crop was not very good. So it was these all things, made. And then obviously this sector, the retail sector did not cooperate as much as it should have done. So, but the positive impact is this, that the non-tax revenue, we have shown a surplus in the non-tax revenue, petroleum levy, then the taxation, then the State Bank profit has gone up, then some other profits have gone up, like telecommunication sector has shown, and then we have seen that there has been increase in the income tax from the salaried class. So which is more than the what so we are getting from the export sector.
But
so
that comes under the
tax
revenue,
that
right?
have tax revenue, but overall I was saying, you know, I mean there was shortfall in one thing, those other was.
So,
But anyhow,
do I understand from your take, if there happens to be any sort of a slippage,
yeah,
or a certain target is not achieved well within time, can it be compensated with something else?
This is the non-tax revenue, which are so now the good thing is this, that our primary budget is in surplus. So that is a good sign. So actually, in all the way, you have to see the what is the end result. End result is that you have to achieve a budgetary surplus, and you have to achieve budgetary concession averaging. So this is I think that hopefully that the IMF program will be sailed out easily. There will be no problem. I don't think that it is going to be a big problem for Pakistan, and hopefully, and they will be happy from that, because they know all these conditions, that our inflation rate has gone down, and but it going down inflation rate means that we have also achieved this target, that monetary rate is going down, and in this way, you know, business activities might flourish in the coming days. So, and but the main thing, that the policy. So I still stand on my previous word, that if you have to increase your tax base, so then definitely you have to decrease the tax rates. Otherwise,
decreasing
it will be very
tax
difficult.
rates. I'll come to that particular point. I want you to elaborate a little bit more in detail on that particular aspect. Professor Rashid, I just want you to elaborate regarding the difference to these particular talks when they happen at the technical level and then at the policy level. For 10 good days, they are going to be happening here, and Pakistani authorities seem very optimistic regarding as to the positive outcomes after this particular review. How we can understand the difference between these two phases, firstly?
Thank you. Let me first explain one of the fundamental questions we always ask, and I think everyone has in mind, why we need IMF program. So this is the one of the, you know, if we understand this thing, then of course it would be easy to understand what is the value of this review, why we are doing this review, and the where Pakistan actually stand there. So this you know, in the Pakistan, you know, the once was facing real issues regarding, you know, the foreign reserves, and even we don't, at that time we had actually enough money to pay our you can say the debt services for international foreign is there. And of course the previous program, unfortunately several programs, not only the previous one, Pakistan actually committed a lot of reforms, but unfortunately we have been failed to actually complete that the you know, the reform there in Pakistan is there, and to achieve the target is there. Now maybe actually this I need to explain that these the targets, or these the you know, the conditions you know, the by the IMF they impose or they suggest to us, they are not the new. I think in Pakistan everyone knows about that. We need you know, the more tax base, we need to justify the tax rate, we need the other sector, the sector which are not covered under the tax net, we need to bring, you know, in the tax net as well there. Macro reforms we need stability, we need foreign reserve, and the most importantly we need to manage our public debt more, you can say, the efficiently and effectively. So these are the actually the target is. Regarding subsidies, of course we actually we are giving a lot of subsidies in Pakistan, but what is the need? We need to give the target subsidies rather than the general subsidies. When we know all these issues, now what is the IMF actually the program, and then this is the you know, the 37-month you know, the extended, you know, the fund facilities program. We alhamdulillah successfully enter in this program. It means we actually make our policies, and that policies was we give the targets, or we give actually the some you know, the some sort of the promise and the commitments to the IMF.
Okay, now Professor Rashid, I'll stop you for a moment over here. When already in your take you said the number of times that the IMF assistance was taken as to stabilize the country's economy. We saw that before entering this particular 37-month long $7 billion extended fund facility, we had that SB as well, right? But that was successfully completed, and all the tough conditions which were put by the IMF for Pakistan, the Pakistani authorities were successfully been able to implement those. That which actually led to the stabilization of the economy overall. Am I correct on that?
You are right. You are right. I'm not saying the 100% we did not actually achieve our targets and what was actually the condition imposed on us, and we did not actually corrected our, you can say, the economy or the path of the economy. But I'm actually, this giving the statement in journal. So in journals, actually these issues we know, being a Pakistani, being an economist, being actually the policy makers, we know very well these are the issues in Pakistan is there. And that actually, of course, this is the result of that our commitment. We achieved those targets and we enter into this
Okay, so
37-month new program.
New extended fund facility, how performance had been as per your understanding in the first half of this current fiscal year since we entered into this one?
I think it's quite well. As you mentioned, the Pakistan, this is the right time, the interest rate has decreased, the inflation we have achieved, you can say.
It is considerably reduced. Remittances have gone up, exports are
export is increasing in Pakistan.
The policy rate is down.
Foreign direct investment is coming in Pakistan. Our stock market is performing very well.
Yeah, and the forex reserves are also in good shape.
Yes, foreign reserves also as increases this. And of course, one of the big, you can say, the setback, the tax target, revenue target, we have been failed to achieve. But it is compensated with the two extra, you can say, the milestone we achieve. One is, our primary, the budget surplus, which is actually higher than the, the targeted. And that was our target. And the second is revenue to GDP ratio, which is also actually we achieve higher than what was our target is there. And then of course, the government Pakistan has started the initiative regarding the retailers and the property owners and the agriculture income to come to bring into the tax, the net base. So these are the positive things as there. And I think we are going in the right direction.
Mr. Professor Rashid, please go ahead. When you talk of the success of the previous SBA over the span of 9 months, entering into this particular extended fund facility, you're of the view that things are much better in shape. From here onwards, what are your expectations firstly as to the outcomes of this particular first biannual review?
Let me explain in the both actually what was your the earlier question is the technical rounds and the policy, the policy rounds. Actually both actually depends on the different targets. Okay. In technical the rounds the IMF actually review all that conditions, targets and our commitments. For example, tax to GDP ratio, expansion of the tax network, or you can say the macro reforms, or you can say like the sectors which are not covered under the, you can say, the tax system. So that should be actually we need to bring in there. And then the soft reform as well, efficiency, you can say the fairness of the tax system is there. And the rationality, or you can say rationalizations of the corporate and the income tax are there. Or the exemptions and the rebates we are giving, we need to relook on that. So that's all come under the technical side is there. When we talk about the policy level, so policy level means that's the mainly actually focus on the macroeconomic stability. For example, the country is growing, inflation is decreasing, and the poverty is decreasing, unemployment is increasing in the countries, and exports are increasing, and the foreign reserves are actually improving or not. Okay. So these the both sort of the reviews, they are part of the the IMF reviews and review. So alhamdulillah, which as I earlier said, so if we look the current Pakistan positions, as we said, and the other members of the the panels are also mentioning this, the revenue to GDP the ratio that has achieved in Pakistan, primary surplus, primary budget surplus, one of the thing is there. This means the excluding the interest expenditures, the remaining actually the government and the revenue expenditures we are in the surplus, and that surplus amount can be used to pay the taxes there. Government Pakistan successfully actually the shifted the short-term debt to the long-term debt security. This is another you can see there. Like the government also actually now has started this and they have actually the the process in Pakistan, the high ranking the government officials, they will now publicly, they actually declare their assets. I think this is again, you can say, one of the good thing in the regarding the transparency and the accountability in the Pakistan. Regarding fairness and the efficiency, lot of, you can say, the steps has been taken is there. So this was actually the technical, you can say, the assessment is there. There was some shortage or the shortfalls in December, because this review is actually July to December 2024. Right. So we got a 1 month. So in 1 month we actually have covered that is there. Now in this month, the next 6 month, I think we even would be in the more better position. This I am saying based on the 2-3 facts. This is actually the data driven. These the claims are there, or my statements are there. Number one, now inflation has reduced in Pakistan, and this is the good thing, which actually has the positive, very positive impact on the poverty as well as on the economic activities and the purchasing power of the the common consumers. And definitely when they consume more, economic activity will increase, and then definitely the output will increase and the growth will increase in Pakistan. Second is the interest rate. Now the government of Pakistan now has reduced the interest rate, and this low interest rate not only will actually enhance our, you can say, the financial sectors, the whole financial sector and the real sectors, but also you can say the businessman and especially those small and the medium scale the firms, they will get a chance to get the easily fund there, and of course they will invest is there. So the financial constraint actually now has reduced in Pakistan because of this the interest rate. So I am actually the very positive regarding this, the 6 month the government Pakistan will even further, we would be able to satisfy the IMF that is there. We have achieved that, and definitely, as I earlier said, one of the big issues of the Pakistan economy is public debt. And if
I'll come to that particular point. That's an aspect that also need quite a detailed elaboration. I want your analysis regarding that. Mr. Shami, I'll come back to you to take your understanding regarding if you want to broaden the tax base, there should be lesser tax rates, right? Yeah. So, Professor Rashid, before I head to Mr. Shami, I just take his earlier point, as you already mentioned, of inflation going down, having largely a positive impact as to the purchasing power of the people, the consumers, leading into increased economic activity. We've also seen the interest rate going down. Mr. Shami was of the view that what the shortfall in the revenue collection that we have seen is one factor that contributed to that shortfall was reduced inflation. Do you agree with that?
I partially agree. I will let me explain. One of the major reason why we have the shortfall in the revenue, that is the low the production of the cotton and wheat in Pakistan, very unfortunately. Then plus our low growth rate of the industrial sector. So that was the 3 major factors. They the substantially contributed to the low revenue. This is there. Now coming to this, the inflation is the actually reduced. So this is the the sales, because the Pakistan actually the tax systems or the tax revenue the largely or mainly depends on the sales tax, and when the prices are higher, then definitely the large, you can say, or the you can say a significant part of the price goes to the the government has a tax revenue, and when the prices are low. But I actually see in other way. For example, when the price will decrease in Pakistan, inflation has control, so this will increase the purchasing power of the consumer is there. So the consumer will spend more. The business will actually do the more, the business firms, they will do the more business, because the demand
and
would
naturally,
be there.
Naturally it should lead to more revenue collection.
Yes, of course, they will increase the revenue. But I agree with the the Shami's the point is there that there is need in Pakistan to rationalize the tax rates, especially in the income tax, personal income tax and the corporate income tax. One of the major reasons the why we have such type of the, you can say, the system is there. There are the several sectors of the Pakistan economy which are not actually the covered under the tax net. So if we will expand our tax base and we actually rationalize that, and the new sectors we bring into the tax network, then
how could that be done?
Yes,
that's a very critical question. I'll come back to you. How can that be done, Mr. Shami? You're of the view that we need to reduce the tax rates in order to increase the tax base. How is that doable?
Yeah. How is that
Well,
doable?
yeah. What are your recommendations?
Doable is
on
that we need a political, will for that,
Okay.
that we have to reduce it. The point is that how it will work, that how our revenues will generate. The
Yeah.
point, maybe this is your point. Point is this, that at present, it is about 5% people are in the tax net, or maybe you can say they are the active taxpayer, or they are the actually giving taxes to the government.
Mhm.
Why we have seen why a large number of people are not coming into the tax net?
Okay.
Why these retailers not coming into why the property people are not coming into
Mhm.
due to the higher rate going up to now about 49%. 49%, it gives a big incentive
49% to
It is,
whom? Where?
to the corporate sector,
Okay.
up to including the super tax and everything, it going up to like that. So this is this is anomalous. Even for the salaried people, it has gone like 40% or like so. It is too much. But salaried person, they cannot evade the tax, because they already, when they get the salary, it is already deducted on so there is no issue. But issue is with the business people. Now the business people see that why they are paying about 50% of their in profit, that why is going to the government when they are running that. So they find the unfair means for that. So they, instead to come into the tax net, they deal with the tax authority, tax people, officials, and then
What about the digitization? When the process of digitization, how do you think that sort of evasion could happen?
that is effective. That is effective. Very effective. But the thing is that we have a lot of digitalization. Already there is a lot of digitalization. But despite that, you cannot exclude the human factor from here. It is very important.
So
When
reducing the tax rate is the only option or the solution through which more revenue could be generated, or are there other factors also? Is this only factor that you consider could be used for tax compliance?
in my view, this is the biggest reason. Because it discourages the person to come into the tax net, because if there is a tax like about 20% tax,
But this scenario, Mr. Shami,
Yeah.
At the same time that the number of sectors that you've already mentioned, number of other times also during our discussion in this particular very show, including other sectors, for example, retail sector. You already talked of the legislation that happened for the agriculture sector as well.
Yeah, that is
Okay, so retail sector, wholesale sector, real estate sector, as well as the agriculture
true.
sector.
Yeah.
Once a good foothold of the authorities being made in those sectors, don't you think then the recommendation that you are suggesting at this particular point in time to reduce the tax rate from the other sectors could be of more value, rather than at this particular time when you are actually not having that foothold within all those sectors which are not directly into the tax net?
The thing is that what are the other ways that you can encourage, you can persuade those people to come into the tax net? Still, for the last 2 years, government is doing its hard time, It's a hard time for them to bring the retail into the tax net. They are not coming.
What about increasing the services later on?
Services about?
Better service delivery when
Service?
it comes to education, health, and other sectors.
No, but that is not directly related to the taxes. You mean that why the people? Okay. Yeah, that is also because one has to the tax, when the government collects the tax. Obviously, the government duty is due to provide all these things, But I don't think that in the country like Pakistan that will be a big incentive. Already, government is doing. Government is doing.
I get your point. Professor Rashid, what's your understanding? Reducing the tax rate, especially when the authorities don't have that very foothold, till that time comes when the authorities are able to have that very foothold within those sectors of retail, wholesale, agriculture and real estate, then perhaps there could be a thought of reducing the tax rate. What do you think of this scenario?
We need to understand why government Pakistan has relatively higher tax rate, if we consider if it is higher. So one of the major reason is narrow tax base. And I agree with you. When government Pakistan has very narrow tax base, the government Pakistan does not has any option to increase the tax revenue and to achieve the target just actually the without or you can say then other than the increasing the tax rate. So this is the one thing is there. Of course, when the Pakistan has the broaden the tax base and the several sectors which already have the mention, we have the several time like the retailers are there, retail sector is there, property sector is there, then agriculture sector is there. Of course, the government has started you know on the working on that, but it will take some time these people when actually we will bring under the tax net, and once they
and by that time do you think it's a good idea to reduce the tax
I don't think
rate?
so. Then it will actually further reduce the tax, the revenue is there, and
collection.
we would be unable to achieve this target. This is the one is there.
During that particular time of transition, what are the alternatives?
Alternative, definitely the alternative Pakistan government is working on the expenditure side as well. This is the one reason. This is and this is the really you can say that we appreciate the government. You know that the effort is there. That is the one reason why you know the budget deficit we have the surplus. This is there. Then the second option is the government should even the more effectively work on the debt, the management is there, especially the public debt management is there. The interest rate, the reduction in the interest rate will give the Pakistan government leverage and the
public debt management. You already described it in your first take. Also, I was about to ask you a question related to that. Also, managing public debt efficiently. That is what exactly you said at that particular point in time. How this particular phenomenon could be addressed? Managing public debt efficiently, reducing the interest rate. That is what you said just right now.
This is the one option I give. It means the government the low interest rate, and definitely the government Pakistan has to pay low the debt service as well. So government get some benefits.
I just want to share a little bit of light how the government would be paying low when interest has already been set.
No, the interest rate once interest rate was 22%. So the government Pakistan was actually borrowing that time at 22%, very higher interest rate. Now interest rate is lower, and if the government Pakistan will borrow, and definitely on the you can say the debt is the rollover in the future. So they actually now the policy rate is 11%. So definitely government Pakistan will get the advantage. The cost of borrowing has decreased. The public sector, private sector is getting benefit. Government Pakistan will get benefit, and the money the government Pakistan will save, the government can spend on the other is there. Let me explain you the first questions regarding how we can get the tax is there. So definitely there are the two actually the model extreme cases that theoretically they work. One is the writ of the government and the second is trust on the government. I think there are the both issues in Pakistan. The government of Pakistan has to establish the writ in the several the sector is there, including you can say the agriculture sector and including you can say the retail sector and that. But also the government of Pakistan should actually develop the trust is there. What was your question is there regarding the delivery like health service, education is that is there. Now one of the question is which will come first, whether the revenue will come first or you can say the good quality services, the public service will come there. I think the both will go the side by side.
What I understand is that revenue should come first, and then perhaps there could be a possibility of providing the better services to the masses.
Of course, theoretically yes.
When you do have enough financing, then you would be able to give those services to the masses at a large scale.
Yes, of course.
That's what my perception
one of the actually if I will actually get at the aggregate level, the question is the how government can make the you can say the better budget, or how government can reduce the budget deficit. So your point is there whether the only government should focus on the tax revenue or there are the other options. Yes, there are the several other options as well. Revenue is the one side of the you can say the whole you can say the public the balance sheet is there. Expenditure is an other side is there. The government also should work on the actually more efficiently. Government size is an other factor is the loss making the industries and privatization and other is there. Accountability is an other sector is there. What you rightly pointed out the digitalization. So definitely when actually we will make this the everything you can say the on the you can say the online, or we can make actually this the accountable, so then definitely the corruption will reduce. Both tax evasion and the tax avoidance, we will work on that. Unnecessary the exemptions we need to actually eliminate. We need to enhance the base of the custom revenue as well there, or we have to actually implement the tax on those sectors like you can say the climate tax. So if someone is actually the contributing into and that is the actually doing some production, so we need to work on that as well there. So this is the way the government Pakistan should work on these is there. One side, the the existing sectors, we have to actually make our system more efficient, more fair, more transparent, so nobody can avoid the tax unnecessary. On the other side, the sectors which are not covered under the tax currently, we need to bring by force or by actually establishing the trust. And we need to enhance the base.
And by
of the
that
is
time,
there.
you're not of the view that the tax rates should be reduced.
If we will reduce, then of course
Okay.
it will
So,
further reduce the
there's
our tax revenue.
There's another important aspect that I want you to elaborate on, Mr. Shami, the energy bottlenecks, the energy sector. How do you think the reforms could be brought in this particular sector in order to meet the demand, that particular condition of the IMF?
Here we have seen that the big issue regarding the energy in Pakistan has been about the IPPs, So the government is still in the process of negotiation, and I think it's going in a positive way, and we have been able to bring many of them to understand, and now government is not borrowing them, not paying them the fixed tax or the fixed expenses. So this is a good sign, and it might result in.
What is generation capacity, and what does expansion of generation capacity mean to you?
The generation capacity is this, that how much installed capacity is there in the country,
Okay.
how much we can produce, how much megawatt electricity we can produce, how much we have the capacity, and actual generation, what we actually generate, and we only generate up to that mark where according to our requirement, which is obviously much lesser than our generation capacity, and particularly in the winter time it goes further down. So obviously we have to pay more capacity tax, which is obviously being charged to the end consumer. So I think there is a possibility of betterment in that sector, and then the government also in the IPP was wanting that it should be a market base, So now this like distribution, like there will be open market, because it was a very bad policy that only there will be one buyer. The government was a single buyer, and it is used to give them. This is why they have to give them the generation the fixed cost also. So now if there will be a market base, it will create more competition, as we have seen in the telecommunication sector. We have seen some in IT sector. We have seen this. So end result is that the revenues goes up and the services are better, and obviously the end user is more comfortable because the prices are reduced. So I think this policy should have been done much before, and now also this about this 35% of our gas, new discovery of gas, that will go to the private sector, and it was the demand of these exploration companies that they should be given some liberty to sell it to because already they are only selling to either to the Sui Northern or Sui Southern, so they can have a third option now. So these all things, obviously, but it will take time, but it gradually is going up. I think government looks very serious, because to do these reforms, these are the structural reforms which the government definitely has to do it.
Right. Professor Rashid, when we talk about energy sector viability, could you explain that a little in detail, and what's required for that? And generation capacity and its expansion, what does that mean?
There are three major issues in our energy sector. Number one, this the agreement with the companies, which is actually you are talking about the generation capacity there. So what I actually, very short answer, we should revise these agreements.
I get your point.
And for the the sake of the national interest, not actually any political base or any personal is there. Number one, that. Second is our the poor infrastructure in the agriculture in the energy sector. So that is actually one of the major reason why we have the huge the losses, land losses is there. So how we can manage? We should replace these our poor infrastructure with more modern, up to date, cutting edge technology we have to use is there, and this has been started. The government of Pakistan has started to install the meters that is actually connected with the the online and system is the automatically reading should be there. Third is there definitely we need reforms, and we are doing that. we need to shift our, you can say, the from conventional energy sources to renewable energy sources is there. That is the only way that we can reduce the cost of the energy, and we can actually fulfill the demand is there. If we actually have the target, the Pakistan, for growth, sustainable growth, higher growth in future, then definitely we need more energy. Solarizations already has started in Pakistan. I think this is the very good initiative. Government Pakistan, across the Pakistan, they are actually, this scheme. And I think this is the one of the, you can say, the very good initiative which actually shift, from the conventional energy sources to the solarizations, which not only actually fulfill the demand of the energy, but also actually help us to, overcome the environment issue.
Elaborated. I'm short of time. I'll have to wrap up the show. But before wrapping up the show, Mr. Shami, your quick comments. What are your expectations from this particular first review? As far as the technical and policy sides, both of them are concerned, what do you expect is going to happen at the end of the day?
Yeah, it is. It will. This negotiation will go for almost a week time, and because this time they are taking up a lot of other sectors, like they have also seen our administrative hurdles and the taxation reforms, and then even the judicially how the judiciary works in the taxation in the commercial businesses in cases. So as you know that their World Bank, their mission also met with the Chief Justice also. So they are taking all these things, and now the government has also announced that the assets of the public office holder will be on the website available for the information, and I think the program will go ahead, and they will give the signal, because primary surplus is there. Then one thing which we missed, actually I also missed that due to the decrease in the monetary rates, we might have a surplus of about 2 trillion rupees, which we have allocated for the debt reservicing. Debt reservicing. So that will be a big jump, So these all things, make a primary surplus very healthy sign, and I hope that the program will go further,
so
maybe with some reservation.
$1 billion next tranche released pretty soon after.
That will be
Professor Rashid, if one certain specific target is missed within a certain specific deadline, what happens to be the procedure further after that particular thing, for the next half year?
Yeah, first of all, I don't have any doubt, regarding the government Pakistan to satisfy the IMF, and we can easily get the first tranche in the couple of the weeks, 3 weeks is there. And your second question is, if we are unable to meet one target, actually IMF does not focus only on the one target. They actually see the whole pictures, and the whole pictures, a lot of the positive things are there, and it is compensated. Now that your question is what the next we have to do, I think
regarding that particular one.
Yes, technical, you can say the technical point of view, we already have achieved these targets, and now is the time the government Pakistan should focus on macroeconomic stability, poverty reductions, and more investment, more employment, and definitely that this highly associated with the political stability.
Thank you very much for taking time out for this episode of Views on News. Professor Dr. Abdul Rashid, Director General, International Institute of Islamic Economics at the International Islamic University, Islamabad. Thank you for being with us. And Mr. Humayun Iqbal Shami, President, Pakistan Economic Forum, thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.